Hey there, my name is Ragnar. This is my survival guide for Protection Paladin in Dragonflight Prepatch. So we're going to go over the talents here to start. These builds have been pulled from the Hammer of Wrath Discord as the recommended builds for both Mythic Plus and for Raid. So I'll be going over these real quick. So this is the passive damage reduction build. So just going over the talent tree here. A lot of these just on the Paladin side, the regular talent tree, this is just giving you a lot of the tools that you already had previously. So we've got Lay on Hands, Blessing of Freedom, and Hammer of Wrath. And then we're going to go down this side and grab our different auras. Grab Divine Steed and Cavalier and Seasoned Warhorse, which increases the duration. So this amount of speed feels really nice in Mythic Plus, and it's nice that we don't have to sacrifice our reduction on our cooldowns like we did in the previous talent tree. On this side, we've got Blinding Light, which is fantastic for area of effect stops, and Cleanse Toxins, which is still something that comes in handy with the current dungeons during pre-patch. On this side, Fist of Justice allows us to use more Hammer of Justices, Hodges, which is fantastic. It's nice to have both Blinding Light and our reduced cooldown on our stun. Feels really good. Greater Judgment causes us to deal more damage with our next Holy Power ability after casting Judgment. Getting our Kick. Reprisal, Seal of Reprisal, it increases just 10% on any Holy Power spending abilities. So your Shield of Righteousness, Shield of the Righteous is going to hit that much harder, which is great, as it's the majority of our damage. Wings we need, and then over here we've got Holy Aegis, which just increases our armor and crit strike chance by 4%. Grabbing Sacrifice, Blessing of Sacrifice, and Pop. And then last thing we get over here is Incandescence. This causes your Consecration to have a 5% chance to flare up and deal some extra damage to up to 5 enemies standing within it. Just looking at my overall damage for Gambit that I did earlier, I'll pull that up here. You can see here that it's not crazy. It was only like 1% of my damage, so it's not nearly as exciting as it sounds. But damage is damage. Going down the middle here, we get reduced cooldown on our stuff: Divine Shield, Arden Defender, and Lay on Hands. We get Divine Purpose, which helps with Holy Power generation since we have less now with Avenger's Shield, not generating Holy Power. And then we get some passive stat buffs here: 8% extra mastery during wings, which mastery is still fantastic, and haste is just always increased by 4%. And then finally, Sanctified Wrath, which helps us to generate even more holy power during wings by causing our judgments to generate an extra holy power. So feels really good. I'll talk about the synergies with wings and everything later. Let's go over the prot tree. So Avenger's Shield, obviously. Blessed Hammer over Hammer of the Righteous, because it has 3 charges and it helps generate more holy power, and also you can do it in between pulls and stuff. You can be casting that to be passively generating holy power in between pulls and stuff, which feels really good. Also with kiting. On this side, we're grabbing Redoubt, which gives us stacking strength and stamina bonus that we can pretty much always keep up. We've got Holy Shield for the extra block chance and the extra damage that it deals, which is great, and being able to block spells. Grand Crusader. This has some nice synergy with Strength and Adversity. So anytime you avoid a melee attack or use Blessed Hammer, you have a chance to reset your Avenger's Shield. So this actually procs quite a bit. Shining Light. This is buffed from previously in Shadowlands. Now it's only every 3 Shield of the Righteouses make your next Word of Glory free. So you've got a ton of free wogs that you can throw out, which feels very, very nice. Consecration and Flame. There's so many more synergies around Consecration now, so you really, even more than ever, want to be standing in your Consecration because it buffs you up quite a bit. It increases your damage, it increases your healing, plus all of the old stuff with your mastery. It's very, very important to be in your Consecration, even more now than ever. So Consecration lasts longer and its damage is increased. Once we get more talent points, we'll be able to further increase that damage with talents like Hallowed Ground, which increases it by 10%. So looking forward to that once we actually get the rest of the talent points in Dragonflight. Barricade of Faith, when you use Avenger Shield, your block chance is increased by 10%. Block is fantastic. Feeds into Holy Shield and dealing damage and stuff. Arden Defender is our short cooldown cheat death DR. We want to grab that. Consecrated Ground, which is our ability to kite. It has the 50% slow and also the 15% larger. It's important to be in your consecration, so the larger consecration makes it much easier to do that. So right here we're going to grab Sanctuary. While in your consecration, your damage is reduced by an additional 5%. That's on top of your mastery. Bulwark of Order. Now this is a huge talent. This is so good. This replaces the first Avenger talent or whatever it was called previously, the Absorb Shield that you get from Avenger Shield. So Avenger Shield shields you for 8 seconds, absorbing 50% as much damage as it dealt, which is going to be a big chunk of your healing across the duration of the dungeon. You can see here from this Gambit, it was actually my top healing. Secondly was Golden Path, which is pretty surprising. So pretty sweet. Oops, didn't mean to close that. All right, so that's Bulwark of Order. Very, very nice. And then right here we've got Strength and Adversity. This, for each target hit by Avenger Shield, gain 2% parry for 15 seconds. I forget what this cap's at. I think it's like 10% parry. But this feeds into Grand Crusader, so it causes even more procs of resetting your Avenger Shield, which has a lot of benefits. Down here, Tears Enforcer. This is a monster. This is awesome. So your Avenger's Shield, your Avenger's Shield has each damage event causes it to explode and deal extra damage to all enemies. I believe this is uncapped within 5 yards of each target hit. So we'll just go ahead and talk about Divine Toll now. This has really good synergy. So now what you want to do is you want to pull back and you want to keep them tight together, and then you pop Divine Toll, and every single one of your shields will hit. So the 5 Avengers shields get cast on 5 targets, and then because of Soaring Shield, it hits 5 total targets. So for a total of 25 unique hits, and each of those unique hits deals damage from Tears Enforcer. So this is just a huge amount of your damage. You can see my overall damage for this Tazavesh, Tears Enforcer did 12% of my damage, so almost as much as my Avenger's Shield. So very, very nice extra amount of damage. It feels fantastic. When you pop this, your damage just shoots to the top of the charts for that for a little bit, which feels really, really cool. Avenging Wrath Might. Now this is probably the biggest flex talent point, I would say. Avenging Wrath Might is going to be your offensive option, and this is going to increase your crit chance by 20% for 25 seconds during the duration of wings. So this is going to add a lot to your damage. The other option is Sentinel. This is a new talent that we've got. I love this. This is so cool. So what this does is it gives you 15 stacks of 2% max health and 2% DR, so a total of 30% of each, for 25 seconds. After 10 seconds, it starts to fall off and it starts to diminish the effectiveness every 1 second. But for every 3 holy power that you spend, it will delay that loss by 1 second. So essentially you pop wings and you want to generate and spend as much holy power as possible to try to get this to last for as close to the full 25 seconds or whatever as possible, just as long as you can stretch it out for. And so that extra 30% DR when you're popping this at the start of a pull and extra max health just feels fantastic. Also, you can see while active, your judgment generates 1 additional holy power, and your damage Sorry, this is all just basic wing stuff. So, yeah, very, very nice. So this is a fantastic defensive option. This adds a lot to your damage. So this you can kind of choose depending on the type of content that you're doing. For this Tazavesh Gambit that I'm pulling information from, I did almost 15k damage overall. By the time I finished the Murloc area, I was at 25k overall damage. And that was with using Sentinel. So it would have been even higher if I'd been using Avenging Wrath Might. Going down the tree, Bastion of Light. So this is going to be a nice cooldown that makes it so that you can cast your next 3 either Shield of Righteouses or Word of Glories. Probably going to be Shield of Righteous. It costs no holy power, so you can pop this along with your Sentinel, and you can just right off the bat extend it by a good amount, which feels really cool. Guardian of Ancient Kings, that's your big cooldown, your big defensive. Soaring Shield, this is the choice for Mythic Plus. This allows your Avenger Shield to hit up to 5 targets, which is awesome. Righteous Protector, this it reduces the cooldown on your wings and your Guardian of Ancient Kings by 1 second for every holy power that you spend. So it's nice to have shorter wings cooldown, and you can have it for most pulls, and then Guardian of Ancient Kings gets further reduced. Divine Toll, this has a lot of synergies with all this stuff that increases the effectiveness of your Avenger Shield and stuff, and so this just still feels fantastic to use. So Divine Toll is probably my biggest reason for enjoying playing Protection Pally. So this is the build I've been using with Mythic Plus today since Prepatch has dropped, and I really have enjoyed it. Another option that you can do is this Cooldowns build that they used. Just some quick highlight. I'm not going to go over the whole thing, but some quick highlights on it is it further reduces the cooldown of your Guardian of Ancient Kings and your Arden Defender because of Gift of the Golden Valkyr. This is just for Guardian of Ancient Kings. It reduces Ancient Kings by another second for every target hit by Avenger's Shield. So your normal cast of it will reduce it by 5 seconds. That's on top of Righteous Protector, so this can really be a short cooldown. Also with this build, you gain Eye of Tyr, which is essentially a demo shout from Warrior. It's just a 25% DR from everybody that you hit in front of you, so for 9 seconds on a very short cooldown, a 1-minute cooldown. So this can be a good option. I haven't really played with it much, mostly because it doesn't use Divine Toll, and that just feels kind of bad to me. Now, if you still do have Kyrian available to you, while we're during this time of Prepatch, the only thing that's been disabled are the tier sets, so your Covenant stuff is all still active, your Unity, your Legendary, so that's all still well and good. So you will still have Divine Toll. So there's that. I'm still running Kyrian. Honestly, looking at this, I probably should take that point off and put it somewhere else now that I'm still running Kyrian with the other build, but it is what it is. So I'm still running Kyrian for the conduit that increases the damage and the amount of hits that it does, and also for Mechanicos's reduced cooldown on Divine Toll, since we're not currently getting quickened invocations right here. We'll be able to get that later. We'll have enough points in Dragonflight to fully go down the tree. For Raid, you still want to be playing Venthyr. I was using the raid damage build on the Hammer Breath Discord tonight, and it felt fantastic. We did Castle Nathria, and on Huntsman, I was actually 7th overall DPS for our team, sitting at like 20k overall damage by the end of the fight. It was pretty crazy. So this feels really good on fights where you're able to cleave and stuff. So this is the talent setup that I was using for that. Again, you can switch out Avenging Wrath Might for Sentinel as your primary flex option, or if you'd like, you can run the balanced option, which just is kind of more of a defensive. I'm sorry, I've had this cough for 3 weeks. more of a defensive option compared to the other one. So it dips a little bit further down into the it gets Eye of Tyr and stuff like that. So it's an option. With how geared and stuff I am for the current content for the remainder of this pre-patch and how our team is and stuff, I've just been doing the damage one to try to go for parses and stuff. So that is the talent breakdown for both Raid and Mythic Plus. So in short, I've been using the passive DR build, and I'll link these in the description. You can go ahead and get the import code, and then all you do is go down here and click import and paste it in right here and name it what you want and import, and you'll be able to save it. So I've been using the passive DR one for Mythic Plus and the Raid damage one for Raid. Some quick overview on the playstyle and stuff. There's been a lot of doom and gloom around Protection Paladin past several weeks because of Avenger's Shield not generating holy power. But I'll say that it does not feel holy power starved at all. It feels really, really good. And this addition of Sentinel, the talent tree, it feels like you have a good amount of options. You can either build to be super tanky, or you can really dive into offense. It just feels very good. The ability to go back into Blessed Hammer feels really nice for that holy power generation, and also to be able to kite with it and stuff. It feels great to be able to kite with that and simultaneously have Blinding Light and the reduced cooldown on your Hodge. The Bastion of Light having lots of extra casts of Shield of the Righteous on a 2-minute cooldown, pairing that with Wings. It really does feel good, and I'm in a also having a, I forgot to mention this, having a battle res now is fantastic. It feels like I'm back on Blood Decay, being able to battle res people and stuff. So that is a big plus into your utility in a key. So now you bring tons of kicks, you bring great self-sustain and survivability and self-reliance, you bring great group utility with healing people with your Golden Path with Consecration, or your Wogs and stuff like that. If you choose to go down deeper into grabbing like Judgment of Light and stuff, taking points out of maybe Blessing of Freedom or something, grabbing those, it's great. So your kicks and stuff like that, being able to have an AoE stop, it all feels very, very good. So I would not buy into the doom and gloom of Protection Paladin. Give it a shot. It takes a little bit of getting used to now that Avenger's Shield does not generate holy power, but I promise you it's not as big of an adjustment as you might think. Damage is great overall. It feels fantastic to play, and I'm very, very excited about maining this going into Dragonflight. So thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful for you. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up in the comments. I will be monitoring this. I check my comments multiple times a day and try to respond to everybody that I can, unless you're trolling, then I don't. Also I will be recording a bit more keys and posting my stream VODs over the course of this month. And if there's any big changes and stuff that I notice that I feel are a better choice with the talents and stuff like that, I'll post those in the comments if anything is dramatically different than what I described in the video. So thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. See ya.